Hey, family. It is an unstoppable day. I'm Terrance, the unstoppable coach Leffridge, your life accountability coach. And I want to start off by first thanking Dr. Ruben West and the Live Your Best Life series for putting on this phenomenal day. The Live Your Best Life series webinar today is going to be life changing. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be motivational. And definitely, if you pay attention and you take copious notes, it's going to be something that's going to set you off on a motion towards living the life that not only were you created to live, but to indeed live your best life. So thank you, Dr. Ruben West, for allowing me to share a little bit of your platform today. And I want to thank you again for doing what you do for the thousands of and millions of people whose lives you touch each and every day with the Live Your Best Life series. You touched my life, you've engaged my life, and you've allowed me to live my life on the next level of my greatness and no longer settling for less than being unstoppable. I wasn't always the unstoppable coach, you guys. See, I have had my share of failure in my life. And for the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk to you about failure. And we're going to talk to you from the standpoint of that failure is not fatal. I want you to write that down. Failure is not fatal. And success is never final. So I have been a life coach now for the last 9 years. But before that time, I had my share of failures. I was going through this process that I'll explain to you later on in this broadcast, but I just want you to write these 4 words down. It's actually the process that each and every one of us has to go through to have more success than failure. You want to know what that process is? You want to know? You want to know? Okay, here you go. It's 4 words, and we're going to start these 4 words by saying start. Then it's fail. Then it's learn, and then it's succeed. Let me say that again. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Said it 3 times so that you can hopefully get that into your mindset, that you got to understand that failure, just like everything in life, is a process. But the one thing I know for a fact is that if you never start anything, you're never going to fail anything. And in essence, you will have failed by default. Someone's going to get that by the end of this presentation. But I started a lot of things in my life, and I have failed a lot of things in life. In the process of failing those things, I've learned some things that have led to my ultimate success right now, and I'm continuing to write my success story. I came out of college 1991 before I even got my degree. See, I was a success at that time because I was one of those few students that was able to secure a full-time paying job even before I graduated. I was popping my collar, y'all. I was interviewing on campus, and this company, Liberty Mutual, offered me a job at the time, and I told them, well, ma'am, well, sir, I haven't completed my degree. I still have a couple hours left to complete my degree. And they didn't care about the fact that I hadn't done that. And they said, come on, we want to give you this job. We see the potential in you, so come on aboard. And that's exactly what I did. I went on board and I had this good paying job and I got my first a brand new car and I was living what everybody considered the American dream. But little than 2 years later, I was no longer at Liberty Mutual. See, because I had failed to take full advantage of what was in front of me. I had failed to take full advantage of what had been offered to me. And as a result, I ended up getting fired from that job. And then I went on to another company. I went on to another company, another Fortune 500 company, and got an even better paying job because, again, they saw the potential in me. And I went on and I did that job, and I got comfortable in that job, and I ended up doing the day after day after day type of thing where you knew your job and you could almost work it on autopilot. Anybody know what I'm talking about having one of those jobs where you really didn't have to think anymore and everything was just on autopilot? Yeah, that was me too. And I found myself in that proverbial cycle of getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed, getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed. That cycle that was just not satisfying in my life. And then the next thing you know, I get let go from that job. Failed one more time. You would think at that time that I would have had enough of that cycle. But no, once again, something came along that was even better. I ended up working for a temporary agency and it was in the social service field. Yeah, I had said goodbye to the corporate world. The corporate world wasn't for me, it wasn't satisfying enough. So let me go into the non-profit world. Let me go into the world where I feel like I could make a difference. I could have a one-on-one contact with people and really change people's lives, or so I thought. I found myself going from the corporate world to the non-profit world, but still the cycle followed me of where I was getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed, getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed. You see, while I was doing something different, it still wasn't what I was ultimately created to do. I wasn't walking in my purpose. How many of you know what I'm talking about when you're not walking in your purpose? I wasn't walking in my vision. Helen Keller said that there's nothing worse than to have sight but no vision. I see what was going on in my life. I saw everything that was going on around me, but I had no vision at that time for how my life was supposed to be. So I just found myself jumping from one thing to the next thing. And I found myself at yet another job working for another company, and I stayed there 10 years. And I thought I had finally figured it out. No longer was I going to be a failure. I had worked this thing out. I had found where I was supposed to be. I was found where I was supposed to spend the rest of my life. And that job was a good job. It took care of me. It allowed me to afford to get married. It allowed me to buy my first dream house. It allowed me at my signature 40th birthday to buy my dream car, and everything was going good. And I had kind of forgotten about the fact that I was getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed, getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed, because I had all these other things around me that was satisfying and that I felt like I had accomplished. But then 2008 came. And anyone who knows about 2008 knows that that was the Great Recession. And in 2008, I lost that good job. Oh my God. Not again. This couldn't have happened again. This job that was giving me everything that I needed, everything that I wanted, everything that I thought was the symbol of success, now I didn't have anymore. I felt like a failure. I felt like my world had come to an end. I felt like just balling up in a little bitty ball in the corner of the room and just dying. Ladies and gentlemen, that failure felt like it was fatal. I had no idea what I was going to do because now I had this dream car that the job that I had, I thought I would be able to afford it. Now I had this dream house that the job that I had, I thought I would be able to maintain. Now I had this wife that the job was allowing me to provide for. The job was no longer there. And what was I going to do? Oh, this failure felt like it was fatal. But this is what I want to remind you. I want to remind you about the equation that we talked about earlier. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. I had started something, but now I was at this point of failure. Now, I had a choice at that time. I had a choice whether to just continue to lay in the corner in that ball and wait for death to take me over and hopefully for the good Lord to call me home, or I had another choice. I had another choice, and that choice was to learn what the lesson was that led me to this current failure. See, we think that a failure is the final chapter. But in essence, failure is just part of the process. J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter fame, she said that she didn't start off being the writer that she is today and the success that she's known for today. She actually went to school to study the classics against her parents' better wishes. You see, her parents had lived through poverty and they wanted the best for their child. They wanted their child to go to college and learn something that was going to be profitable for her so that she could get the key to the executive bathroom and get all the accoutrements that went along with having a successful job. How many of us have ended up living the lives that our parents dreamed of instead of living the lives that we were created to live? Yeah, me too. When I was growing up, my aunt always thought because I was smart that I was going to be the next Thurgood Marshall. I was going to be the next Chief Justice of the United States. Didn't happen. My grandmother, she loved John Wayne, and she saw that she got a chance to see me on stage as a young kid in grammar school, and she was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be an actor, baby, one day. You're gonna be the next Duke." And if you guys know the reference to Duke, then you're probably older than I am. But John Wayne was called the Duke back at the time, and I was gonna be a big time actor because my grandmama said I had potential. Yeah, that didn't happen either. And it didn't happen for J.K. Rowling either because she graduated from college, and a mere 7 years later after graduating, she hadn't wrote any of the Harry Potter novels that turned into the mega movies. She hadn't even wrote one book. She had went the route that her parents had envisioned for her, and 7 years later, she was on the brink of homelessness. Her marriage had ended, and she had kids to take care of. But that wasn't the end of her story, just like it wasn't the end of my story, just like it doesn't have to be the end of your story. Because when you follow the paragraph, when you follow the explanation, when you follow the blueprint that we talked about earlier, start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. You'll know that failure is just part of the equation, not the end of the equation. See, now comes the part where you learn from that failure. What did I learn from my failures? What did J.K. Rowling learn from her failures? And what can you learn from your failures? Because in life, failure is an eventuality. As long as you're living, as long as you're breathing, you have the possibility to fail. Les Brown eloquently says that if I'm going to fall, let me fall on my back because as long as I can look up, I can get up. And that's what failure is all about. If indeed you have to fail to succeed, then fail falling on your back. Because if you can look up, then you can get up. Once I decided to uncurl myself out of that ball and come from out of the corner of my failure, I started to learn what that meant to me. And this is what I learned. I learned that in every job I had, I loved the part about helping people. I just didn't like the way I had to go about helping people in any of those jobs. See, in the Liberty Mutual job, I felt like a bill collector. In the other job that I got fired from, I felt like I was a people pleaser. In the job with the nonprofit, I felt like I wasn't really helping people the way they needed to be helped. I was helping people the way they wanted to be helped. And sometimes that's two different things. Sometimes, just like I didn't know what I needed to know, the people I was helping didn't know what they needed to know either. And so neither one of us ended up helping each other the way they needed to be helped. I learned that the common denominator in everything that I was doing was my desire to help people. And when I was working one of those good jobs at the time, I heard about this thing called life coaching. Had never knew what it was, and so I decided to go to a seminar, a 2-hour seminar about life coaching. And they talked about helping people, and they talked about providing a service to people, and they talked about being a coach and helping people not with basketball or baseball or football, but with this thing called life, helping them get to the next level of their greatness through coaching. And at the time, I said, that's intriguing, but I didn't act on it. I failed to act on what was pulling on my strings of my heart, because I was caught in that roller coaster, that wheel that said, get up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come home, and go to sleep. I didn't know anything better because that's all I was trained to know. That's what's considered a success in the world. And I didn't want to look at it any way different. But this third failure that I went through, this third time of losing a job, allowed me to see that there was more possibilities for my life. Are there more possibilities for your life that you haven't looked at because you've been on that proverbial wheel of success that says you've got to get up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, over and over again? Is there something tugging at the heartstrings inside of you that says you should be doing something else that would really make you successful? But because of everybody else's definition or vision of success for you, you continue to do the same thing? Are you failing by default because you are afraid to look at the possibilities for your life? J.K. Rowling later would say that if not for the fact that she failed, she would have never seen those other possibilities in her life. If she had succeeded at what other people wanted her to do or thought she should do, she would have never found herself in the situation where she'd have to look at these new possibilities to do the thing that was pulling at her heartstrings all along, which has led to her eventual success. Ladies and gentlemen, failure is not fatal. It's the not trying that could kill you. Let me say that again. Failure itself is not fatal. It's the not trying that could kill you. See, if you never start to do something different, if you never try to do what that is inside of you, if you continue to do that proverbial wheel of someone else's success strategy, then sooner or later you're going to find that you run out of gas on that wheel of success, and you'll find out that you failed by default. I don't want you to fail by default. I want you to recognize that if you continue to try, if you continue to start something, even if you might fail, recognize that's not the end of the story. That's just part of the chapter. Learn from that failure, and that's going to lead to your ultimate success. Who has the vacuum cleaner by Dyson? It's one of the most popular vacuum cleaners on the market right now. Well, the owner of the Dyson company, before he found the perfect vacuum cleaner for the market, he went through 526 prototypes before he came to 5,127, which is the vacuum cleaner that is on the market that led to the success in the company. 5,126 failures before he got to the one. Or look at the degreaser that was formed by two scientists out of Detroit. All they wanted to do was to make the perfect degreaser for household use so that mothers and fathers and single people and homeowners all over the country, all over the world could clean their house more effectively. They went through trial after trial, trial number 1, trial number 2, trial number 10, trial number 20, and just couldn't get it right. But they didn't stop there. They continued to run trials. They were continued to experiment. They continued to look after prototype after prototype after prototype. Trial 200, trial 300, trial 400. And the next thing you know, they got to trial 409. And they found the perfect compounds and the perfect chemicals, and they were able to blend it all together to come up with the perfect degreaser for you and I. And we use it each and every day now. What's that product? Formula 409. People thought the 409 stood for zip code. They thought it stood for this. They thought it stood for that. But merely 409 stands for 408 failures and one success called 409. They learned from each failure that they had before, and they recognized that failure was part of the process to perfect the perfect product. Failure was part of the process to perfect the perfect product. And once they did it, now you and I can use the products that we need to use to make our lives better. But if nobody had started, if nobody had failed, and nobody had learned from the process, then there would be no successful products here. That's my message for you today. I want you to recognize that failure is not fatal. Whatever you're going through right now that you may have failed at, it is not the end of the book. It's just part of the chapter. And if you recognize that you had to start in order to fail and learn from those failures to get to your success, then there will be nothing that can stop you from living your life not only the way that God intended you to live it, but to live your best life. If it's one thing I know, you can never settle for anything less than that. Why settle for less when you can be unstoppable? And let's learn the equation: the start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed equation that's going to allow you to live your best life. Why? Well, Dr. Ruben West says it all the time. Because you only get one. That's my time. I'm Terrance, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, with Unstoppable Coaching Services, reminding you that you should never settle for less when you can be unstoppable. Now, here's what I want to offer to you. I want to offer to you a life assessment survey from Unstoppable Coaching. Basically, this is going to see where you are right now on your success journey. Which mode are you in? Are you in the mode where you're just starting? Are you in the mode where you've had some failure? Are you in the mode where you're learning to balance your work and your life and your success so that you can live your best life? What field are you playing on? You know, life is not a spectator sport. You have got to get in the game. And this assessment is going to help you see where you are in the game and what level you're playing at. Once we know what level we're playing at, once we know what level of success we have, then we can start figuring out what's failing and learning from those failures so that we can get to our ultimate success. So if you're interested in getting the Unstoppable Coaching Life Assessment Survey, all I need you to do is text the word unstoppable to 773-848-0252. The word unstoppable to 773-848-0252. 0252. And then one of my staff will get back in contact with you, gather your email address, and get the information to you. Now, some people want to take massive action. Some people don't want to text. Some people want to get it right now. If you're one of those people that want to get this life assessment survey right now, then you can also just email me at Terrance, Terrance, at unstoppablecoaching.com. Terrance at unstoppablecoaching.com. And we'll send that life assessment survey to you right away. So you've got two ways to get in contact with me. Text the word unstoppable to 773-848-0252 or email me directly at Terrance, Terrance, at unstoppablecoaching.com. And we'll send that Unstoppable Coaching Life Assessment Survey to you so that you'll find out what success playing field you're playing on right now so that you can learn how to live your best life. When? Not now, but right now. And until we connect again, I want to leave you with this. I want you to always learn how to dream big, aim high, and believe in the impossible. And never, ever, ever forget that you can be unstoppable. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Recognize that failure is not fatal. And then you too can be unstoppable. Don't just make it a great day, make it an unstoppable day. And here's to living your life on the next level. Take care.